So in general, when somebody asks me whether or not dyscalculia is real, what they're really asking me is whether or not it's based in genetics or biology, or whether it's due to poor academic skills or poor teaching or other environmental factors. Um, and to answer the question briefly, yes, dyscalculia is real and it is genetically based, at least for some subset of individuals who are diagnosed with it. Um, there are a couple of specific regions in the brain that researchers have linked with dyscalculia. So if we look at the following graph or presentation, you can see that there are several colored regions in this brain. And this brain compiles information from a number of brains that were involved in a study where they compared neurotypical individuals to individuals with dyscalculia. And all the colored regions were areas where individuals with dyscalculia had different activation. This yellow area, also known as the intraparietal sulcus, has been shown time and time again to be connected to dyscalculia. And individuals who have dyscalculia, and specifically the better defined developmental dyscalculia diagnosis, tend to have anatomical abnormalities in this area, or less gray matter, fewer brain cells in this area. And this area and some of the surrounding areas are linked to some of the difficulties that we see in individuals with dyscalculia. So the main thing we see is an impaired number sense. And we've seen from brain imaging studies, studies looking at individuals who've had trauma to this area of the brain, or individuals who've had this area temporarily disrupted, that they lose what's called the number sense. And essentially what a number sense is this built-in intuitive sense for how large a group is that most of us seem to be born with, and most of us seem to be able to exhibit within the first week of birth. This seems to be missing in some individuals with developmental dyscalculia. And this seems to be an internal mechanism that at least arithmetic skills get built upon. And then once those fall out of place, all the other layers of mathematics tend to not fall into place because of that missing initial piece. Some of the other areas of difficulty that we see with individuals with dyscalculia include an inability to retrieve math-specific bits and pieces of information. And again, that is linked to an area that's close to the intraparietal sulcus. And it's mainly the left angular gyrus that's involved. And some have difficulty with spatial attention skills, again, necessary for parts of mathematical thinking and processing. And that's involved with the bilateral posterior superior parietal lobe. Not everybody who has a dyscalculia diagnosis or a mathematics disorder diagnosis necessarily has a genetic abnormality in this area. It is possible for somebody to get that diagnosis due to poor teaching skills or academic skills. However, I think that tends to be a minority of individuals who get diagnosed with it. And for most of the individuals out there, they either have one of these anatomical abnormalities, or they have weaknesses in their working memory or reading skills or attention that affect mathematics as well as a range of other academic skills.